Alert Podcast.
That was a super weird intro. Seems like it didn't play my video right. I don't know what that was about. Anyway, this is episode 112, part 1, Amber Alert Podcast. I am your host, Amber Starkey. It's a great day to be alive. It's Friday. I love doing these on Fridays because I don't want to do them on Saturdays or Sundays, and I don't really have time during the week. So I like to get these done on Fridays. Now, this is part 1, so we always get into the news. To be honest, I don't think there's anything all that interesting that came about in the news in the last week, so I actually want to get through this quickly, although I do have a handful of videos for us to watch together. As always, I don't usually watch these ahead of time, so if there's like language in one of the videos, I'm sorry, I didn't watch it. Don't be mad at me, I'm not the one saying it, okay? And if you've never heard cuss words before, I assume you're like 2. And anyone who's had a job or lived in the world, some Christians are extremely sensitive. You'd think someone like stabbed them when they hear someone say a cuss word. I guess I can't relate to that just because I'm, I went to public school. I have worked jobs. I'm 34. So anyway, so that's part 1. We'll get through the news. Part 2, I want to talk about, we've been talking about alien abductions. Alien, I put in quotations because they're not aliens. But the abductions are real. As strange as it may sound, the abductions are real. And so there's something that goes on that involves screen memories. Now, this is not a subject that is only about, it's not only about abductions. Like this, Sigmund Freud came up with this like forever ago. In psychology, they know it's a real thing. So it just so happens that it's definitely involved in the whole abduction scenario. So we'll get into that and look into what those are. Also, Steven Spielberg's got his movie coming out this month, I believe. Day of Disclosure or Disclosure Day. I'm mixing it up with the documentary from last year, I think it was. Or early this, I don't know when it came out. Anyway, there's a lot of, in my opinion, predictive programming in that. And so we'll look at the trailer and how that relates to our subject of screen memories. And also we're going to listen to what a former abductee had to say about his encounter with what we would call a hybrid being. I've talked about it before, but I don't think I've ever played the video where you can see him talking about it, which in my opinion carries a lot more weight than me repeating it. It's better to hear it directly from the person. So we'll get into that. And then part 3, we always get into the Bible. And I've talked about before how it's not good, to go down the road of criticism and accusation. But we're going to sort of revisit that subject because there's something more to it. That actually my dad mentioned something and I didn't really think about it at the time, but then later, as I started to think about it, I thought that's completely true. And then I got, as I was reading the other day, I was like, oh, this is a perfect example where you see exactly that. So we'll get into that in part 3. Anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and start with the news. Steak and Shake officially switching all its steak burgers to 100% grass-fed and grass-finished beef. Way to go, Steak and Shake. And there you have RFK Jr., who in my opinion is doing a great job. Like, it's so long overdue that we actually have a person who wants to get things in our food supply that should not be consumed, not only by people, but also not even by animals. Things that have been FDA approved and the USDA, things that nobody should be ingesting. And so everyone's just gotten away with it. I went to, I have a degree in nutrition, and it's so funny because at the time, like when I was in school, I didn't really like know better or think about it. But now looking back, it's like half the stuff I learned, well, it's okay because it's FDA approved. No, that doesn't make it okay. In fact, that means like be double hesitant about it, because if you think the FDA is not in bed with people like Bill Gates and other people who have like openly talked about depopulating the earth and killing people off so that there are less people and more earth for people like him, the elites, the top 1%. Think again, they're all in bed together. So just because something's FDA approved does not mean you should be consuming it, especially if it's causing cancer in like mice or whatever. So thank God for RFK Jr. He's doing a great job. It's hard to believe he was ever like a liberal. I think he probably still is liberal on some issues, which is actually fine. That's fine. But the thing is, he's like an old school liberal, or like how Democrats used to be, where you were still sane. You'd be a little bit left on a couple of issues, but you were still like a sane person, which is why so many people have left the Democrat Party, because they're like, this has shifted so far from what it used to be, and I'm not like here for this. So now they're like middle ground, which makes you look extremely white, like not white, but right-wing conservative. And it's not even radical. It's just like basic common sense and a little bit of decency and like a shred of a moral compass. But anyway, way to go, Steak and Shake. Next, Mike Flynn. Okay, I had suspicions. I knew something. What his vibes were off. So General Flynn is officially a foreign agent of the Republic of where? Spurska? Is that a real place? I don't know what that is. Headed by Milorad Dodik. That sounds okay. Who is Putin's most vocal ally in the Balkans? Okay, I knew that sounded Russian, that name. I first reported on this about a month ago. Here is a registration doc from FARA. Oh, he's FARA registered. According to the document, Flynn is being paid $100,000 per month. This is disappointing because not long ago, I loved General Flynn. I was like, dude, I love this guy. And then some things started to look not right, not adding up. And I thought, I don't know if you could be trusted anymore. And boom, there you have it. Some influence has made its way in. And of course, it's almost always money. If it's not money, it's blackmail. So unfortunately, that's another fallen conservative voice. In my opinion, people can make up their own mind. If you want to continue to listen, no problem. There are still conservatives who listen to Tucker Carlson. So everyone gets to make up their own mind. That's the beauty of the world we live in. Next, Jack Hibbs. Pastor Jack Hibbs, why follow your heart is the worst advice. I bet I know where he's going with this, but I'm going to let the man talk and see what he has to say.
Follow your heart. What does that mean? Well, just be sincere. Well, what does that mean? If it feels good, do it. Listen, all of those sayings lead to total destruction. Number one, the Bible tells us that there's a way that seems right to a man in his heart, but that way ends in destruction, ends in death. When our heart is speaking to us, what is speaking to us? Our emotion. And Satan can use our emotions. We can use our emotions. The world around us can use our emotions to get us to make a decision. Friends, no. Don't follow your heart. Obey the word of God. No matter how we feel about anything. What does the Bible say? Let's take what we feel and match it up against the Bible, and we will know what to do. Oftentimes in my life, my feelings have absolutely been wrong.
Amen to that.
Most often, my feelings have led me down the wrong path if I were to obey them.
Big facts.
But when I obey the expressed word of God, I know exactly what to do. How about this? Let's bring our feelings and our thoughts and our emotions under the rule of God's word.
Yes.
And then make the decision based upon what God's truth says. In all of our ways, let's acknowledge him, and he will direct our paths.
Amen to that. He's so right. Your feelings are your enemy, because that's like your soulical, it's like your thoughts. You have to get control of your mind, take every thought captive, make it obedient to Christ. But also your feelings are such liars. And here's the thing. Everyone thinks, like, I used to say this in my 20s when I was stupid and I should have known better, but I didn't. And I'd be like, well, I can't help the way that I feel. And like, that's a lie. Yes, you can. You feel a certain way and you just tell it, no, I'm not going to feel that way. I'm not going to act on that. That feeling can go to hell where it came from. I'm literally not going to be driven by my feelings. They're not going to control me. They don't even have a say. I decide how I'm going to feel. How about you tell your feelings what to feel? You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I'm trying to order something on Amazon real quick because I want it immediately. I hate using Amazon, but I have to for now. Anyway, next. A hospital in France is using donkeys as part of a unique therapy program designed to help psychiatric patients and support mental health recovery. Honestly, that's a great idea. Obviously, we all know there are like therapy dogs, which is probably the best animal to use because dogs are like arguably better than people as far as just like making you feel good to be around. But donkeys are like adorable too. And also, maybe not all of them. I know they can kick people and stuff, but it seems like a lot of them are like very loving. They're very loving to their owners. They're very sweet. So that's like, that's France. That's amazing. That's like the first good thing France has done since before World War II. Next. A supermarket, an even better idea. A supermarket in Italy has introduced shopping carts with built-in compartments, allowing customers to bring their dogs along while they shop. Let me tell you, I would be at the grocery store every day, and I would also never leave. My 10-minute in and out grocery list, I just got to grab a couple things, would turn into like 4 hours. If I saw dogs in every cart, I would constantly be stopping. I actually don't care how big a dog is, if it looks threatening or not. I'm pretty much, if there's a dog out in public, I'm going to go ask you if I can pet it. There's a police dog outside my church, and it has the vest, it says don't pet and all that. And I understand what that dog is trained to kill people. I know, I understand the situation, but I still had to ask the guy. It's his dog, he trained it. I was like, is it ever okay to pet your dog? And he's like, well, probably not. But then he told me that, and then a couple weeks later, like 2 weeks ago, he said, you can pet him if you want. I was like, I can. Now, I was on duty. I was like in a position I was serving that week, so I couldn't really just like abandon my position. But now that I have the green light, I'm going to pet that dog. If I lose an arm, worth it. Next. Wait a minute. No, there's a video for this. We didn't even watch it, and I want to see the video because there are going to be dogs and carts, and that's adorable.
Now to Italy, where pets are welcome to join in their owners'
How
shopping
cute.
trips, at least in one grocery store.
Yeah, they've equipped their shopping carts with specially designed boxes where shoppers' dogs can now ride along. This guy, Maury, the Cavapoo, didn't seem particularly excited about the shopping adventure, but his owner said that at least he remained calm the whole time they were shopping.
His face really says it all.
Yeah.
He's like, why did you bring me here? I was perfectly fine on my nap, and I hope I get a treat.
He deserves a treat.
He
but at
deserves
least
all the treats.
He got to ride along.
Got to ride along, and he did do a really great job.
It's a shame. I can't really take my dogs in public. Well, my Saint Bernard he wouldn't fit in a cart. And he's 11, so getting him up, why is my hair disgusting? God. Getting him up into even a vehicle is like difficult now. But my Basset Hound, he's small. He's actually the runt of the litter, so he would fit in a cart. But here's the thing about him. This is what he does all the time. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Whoop, 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 whoop. Just constant whining and whimpering like over everything. I saw this chart the other day that said something about it. It was like a pyramid of the most needy dog breeds at the top, and then at the bottom, the least needy. Basset Hounds were at the bottom. I was like, that's a lie. Unless my dog, which he might be the exception to the rule, but he has the worst separation anxiety I've ever seen. I love him. I would do anything for my dogs. I love them to death, but he's not the best in public because he just never stops making noise. Next. Wait, we already read that and watched it. Next. Okay. A 14-year-old Michigan girl fought off a registered sex offender who tried to kidnap her while she walked home from school. First of all, if you're the sex offender, how humiliating that a 14-year-old girl fought you off. If you don't kill yourself, I don't know how you live after that. A 14-year-old girl got the better of me. I'm glad she did, but dude, anyway. Police say 29-year-old John Moore fled after she injured him during the struggle. Let's go. She showed incredible courage under unimaginable circumstances. We have the video. I think it's a little bit from a distance, but I haven't watched it yet, and I'm interested to see this girl beat this guy off.
Say a man tried to kidnap a 14-year-old girl in broad daylight. It happened earlier this month. 8th grader Nevaeh was walking home from school.
She's
in
not small
Kentwood,
for a
Michigan.
14-year-old.
Watch as a black SUV pulls up alongside her. Seconds later, a man jumps out, lunging toward her.
It literally did kind of shock me, like, wow, my daughter experienced being attacked from a stranger.
Her mother, Alicia Perez, opening up about her daughter's harrowing experience.
She came storming in the living room that day, and she's just crying hysterically, and had blood all on her face and her clothing. And she said, "Mom, I love you so much." That's all I could think of is him trying to take my last breath.
According to court documents, Nevaeh later told police that the suspect said to her, "I got you," as he grabbed her.
She said,
Police
"No,
say
you
Nevaeh
don't."
fought back, injuring the man before he took off.
Let's
She saved
go.
her own life that day.
According to authorities, the teen was just one of 2 alleged victims that day. Just an hour earlier, they say the same man also attacked a 66-year-old woman while she was gardening outside her home. Police identified and later arrested the suspect, 29-year-old John Moore, who is now charged with unlawful imprisonment and assault and battery. Police now releasing the 18-second video to the public, asking if there's any other victims to contact the department. Nevaeh's mom grateful her daughter is okay.
Keep your kids close.
Okay, I thought
Tell
I
them
was
to.
gonna get to see her beat him up. Dude, what happened to my hair? I was hoping to see, like, actually see her, like, fight him off. So he went after a 14-year-old girl and a 66-year-old woman. That kind of range is crazy. Good thing he's locked up, though. I was actually just talking to my husband about this last night because you know how the UK is like so overrun with migrants, and it's a bunch of Muslims who think it's okay. First of all, they think pedophilia is okay, but also they think it's okay. In fact, I'm pretty sure, someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure according to the Quran, you're like, as a Muslim man, like supposed to rape the infidels to humiliate them or whatever. So that means any woman who's not a Muslim, you're like, it's like a green light to just rape them. So like the Pakistani rape gangs did unspeakable things. In fact, some of them just got, they're getting executed if they haven't already in Pakistan. The UK didn't go through their legal system because they won't do anything. But even in Pakistan, they're like, we're going to kill all these people. Thank God. But, I was saying, like, I understand they don't have like the 2A rights, you know, in the UK like we have. So it's much easier for a person here to make sure they're armed. I don't expect a 14-year-old girl walking home from school to be armed, but I mean like adults to just be armed, which is an equalizer in that situation. But even beyond that, if someone comes to attack you, whether you are a man or a woman, I guess, I feel like there's like an instinct where you're going to have like an adrenaline rush and you would just turn into a psycho, like a lunatic. I'll bite your chin off. I'll claw your eyes out. And then if it's a dude attacking me, you would take your kneecap and you would drive it right into his balls. You know what I'm saying? And put him down. I feel like, obviously if it's more than one person, but like I just feel like there are ways that you don't have to overpower the person and be stronger than them. There are certain places you can hit and certain things you can do that they're going to be like really having their hands full. Or like that girl, oops, picked the wrong person to try to grab because this 14-year-old was ready. Apparently she wasn't having it. So way to go, Nevaeh. God bless you. I'm so glad she came out okay. All right. We already did this. We did this. Next. Okay. From Officer Tatum, Brandon Tatum. Love this guy. He said, Justin, call sheet currently. Wait a minute. This doesn't matter. This doesn't even matter because I think the election already happened and they're having problems. We're going to read about it in a minute. Okay. As of June 2nd, only 9 NFL teams have not made posts about Pride Month. Those teams are the Dallas Cowboys. Interesting. Now, I don't hate the Cowboys, but everyone calls them gay. So you would sort of think they would be on board with Pride, but apparently not. And I know Dallas is like liberal as a city. New Orleans Saints, Cincinnati Bengals, Cleveland Browns. Way to go, Ohio. You know, That's like the only right thing the Browns have done in my lifetime. So I can't be happy after games, but I can be happy over this. Kansas City Chiefs, not surprising. Their owners are based. Las Vegas Raiders, that is kind of surprising. It's not like Las Vegas is just like conservative, you know. New York Jets, also surprising. Pittsburgh Steelers, I hate the Steelers, but at the same time, there are a lot of great people in Pittsburgh. So I don't know. Tennessee Titans, cool. Props to the teams for not capitulating to the gender cult mob. Amen. Wait, next. Breaking, prominent German LGBTQ activist and drag queen Mario Olzinski arrested on child porn charges. Big surprise. You're telling me a sexually deviant person shows further sexual deviance? Not surprising. Next. Raptor being evacuated. This is from Cedar Point. This was in the last few days. I'm telling you, roller coasters are out to kill you. I don't want to get on one for the rest of my life. I'm not scared to die, but I'm also not going to just go take unnecessary chances, especially when I don't actually, if I remember right, the Raptor was fun because I don't think it has a massive hill like the Millennium, definitely not like the Dragster. The Raptor was fun, I believe, if I remember. It's been a long time since I've been there. But even it's old too. So, you know, how many like of these roller coasters and rides need to break down before people are like, maybe I'll risk my life doing something else. Next. New, a celebrity border collie with 1.5 million followers was allegedly stolen in China, sold to a restaurant for $27, killed and eaten. Okay, I think this merits at least drone strikes. $27. You bought a dog, killed it, and ate it. Okay, China. It's about like count your days. Not that that's like new. I know they've been doing that with. I don't. I don't really care if they kill cats and eat them. I don't. Here's the thing. I don't hate cats. I've had more cats than I can even count. I don't hate them. I start to hate them when they live inside my house because I don't like what they do and the messes that they make. I'll put up with dogs, but cats I don't really have patience for in my house. If they're in someone else's house, I'll go pet them. But here's the thing. Almost everyone I know, almost everyone, they have a cat or multiple cats because they found it, like it showed up at their house, or they were given one for free. I only know a few people who paid money for their cat, which means their lives are not that valuable. And a lot of people don't like really care because if you see a stray cat, you're like, whatever. But if you see a stray dog, it's like, oh, does this like belong to someone? I hope, we can get someone to take this dog if it doesn't belong to someone. There's just like another level as far as like between dogs and cats. So if China kills cats and eats them, again, there are stray cats everywhere too. So I'm not saying I would do that, but I'm like, whatever. But a dog is crossing the line in my opinion. No offense if you have cats. I also have cats. I have 2 cats. I just don't want them in my house is all. Next. Justin Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene are reportedly planning a takeover of the Republican Party. That's hilarious. Didn't both of them lose their latest elections? So you can't even get elected in your own like area, right? Where you're from, where you've been holding office or whatever. And you're going to take over the Republican Party. Clearly, you don't have very much support. You don't have the support that you think you have. Plus, Marjorie Taylor Greene like moved to Costa Rica. So what's that about? Both of them are some of the most unlikable conservatives, but they're barely even conservatives because they vote with, or Massey kept voting with the Democrats. Marjorie Taylor Greene was, just trash talking Trump, going on CNN, going on The View, blah, blah, blah. It's no wonder that they're like linking up and God knows what they did in Costa Rica together. But I'm not surprised because they're sort of the same type of person that like actual conservatives don't like you. Liberals like you better than people on the right do. and you're saying you're going to take over the party? I don't think so. Next. Columbus Circle Fountain under Trump versus Biden. Decline is a choice. Amen. Look how much different that looks. All we needed was a new president. That's true, because that looks way better. That looks nice. And like, imagine being upset about that. Don't understand how you can take issue with that. Do you not like things looking better? Okay. Next. Oh, this guy, Zoran Mamadani, was dropped. What? Oh, I'm sorry. He just dropped the most cringe campaign. Okay. I don't even need to read all of that. Let's just watch the video because I haven't seen it yet. If it's anything like Eric Swalwell's videos, I'm probably going to want to kill myself before it's over.
Possible with a great team.
I'm Brad Lander, and I'll block billionaires from buying our elections.
I'm Maria Elisa Avila Chevalier, and I'll defend New York by abolishing ICE.
I'm Claire Valdez, and I'll stand up against bad landlords and greedy corporations.
Get out and vote. This is the team. This is our year.
I'm Brad Lander.
I'm Claire Valdez.
I'm Maria Elisa Avila Chevalier, and
We approve this message.
Okay, so to be
New York?
honest, I wouldn't really call that cringe, because cringe, I think of like a video that just is like painful to watch. That wasn't really painful to watch. The Eric Swalwell campaign videos before all that stuff came out and he like withdrew his name when he was running for governor of California. If you haven't seen those, well, don't watch them because you'll want to die. That's cringe. That to me wasn't really cringe. It just is. My question is, if you live in New York City and it's been like turning into a third world country since Mamdani got in, and they're talking about taking land from landowners and giving it to tenants, and all this other stuff. It's straight up communism. So, and then I'm going to defend New York by abolishing ICE. Okay, so that's literally just, hey, I'm pro crime. Because it is, I mean, it is a crime to be here illegally. And even if you like, here's the thing. I would put the people at the back of the list. If someone has been here for 20 years illegally and they've been working a job and they've never committed a crime, I would make them last to deport, or even give them a chance, say you're going to be leaving, or else, get your citizenship. Okay. I wouldn't leave them here illegally, but the thing is, a lot of them that have come in have been criminals, because they literally opened the floodgates of people coming from like prison and from other countries. So it's like, if you're a citizen of New York City, how do you look at that ad and be like, those are the people that I want to vote for. I want more trash in the streets. I want more crime. I want to own less, and they're talking about, we'll protect things from billionaires. What difference does it make if you're going to take what someone owns? What does it matter who takes it? Whether someone like Bill Gates comes and takes it, or the governor. Oh, you don't own this place, but you've been renting it. You can have it. We're just going to take it from the person who owns it. What a stupid ad. If anything, that should show you, like, if you are running against any of those people, you don't even need to make your own to show people why to vote for you. Just play that and show them why not to vote for that, because that's insane. But I guess, New York, they asked for it. It's not like he was shy about being like a communist. He can call it socialism, but it's communism. So you guys are lying in the bed the way that you made it, and it sucks. So it's only a matter of time before something happens to you personally that you're like, okay, I can't stay here anymore. I voted for this, but I realize this is not it, and I can't stay here. Which is unfortunate, because it shouldn't get to that point where you have to be harmed or stolen from or something like that before you realize to not vote a certain way. Next. New dashcam footage shows a child being ejected from a vehicle during a crash moments after a traffic stop. Miraculously, the child walked away with only minor scratches. Nothing short of a miracle. Let's see the video. I'm guessing this is not going to be very graphic since the kid is unharmed.
And that suspension.
That is a miracle.
Are you okay? Are you okay, buddy? Come here. Come here, bud. I got you. Come here. I got you. Sit in here, okay? Sit in here.
Thank you.
Are you okay, buddy?
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that suspension.
Oh, so the cop. Okay, so the cop was involved. Yeah, that's insane to not be harmed after that. Yikes. Tough kid though. Okay, next. I told you news wouldn't take long today. DC priest removed as exorcist after public comments suggesting UFO sightings were the work of demons. So the guy is actually speaking truth, which is not even common necessarily for priests. No offense if you're Catholic. I know some priests are fine, others are not, but he's correct. Obviously, not all UFOs, because probably a lot of what people are seeing sometimes is something that we have back engineered, and it came from, an otherworldly source. But he's right. It is demonic in origin. The whole UFO alien conversation is absolutely demonic. So he's going to tell the truth, and then you're going to remove him from his position. If he's exposing that as demonic, that's someone you'd want to keep as an exorcist. But, Catholic Church has some issues. All right, from Benny Johnson, Florida and Texas prove California's broken election system is by design. Obviously, Texas, 11.4 million ballots counted, results by 10 p.m. on election night. There you go. Florida, 10.8 million ballots counted on election night, and mail-in ballots are counted as they arrive. So on election day, there's barely anything left to tabulate. Yeah, that's how it's done. And then what do they do in California? Refuse to count anything until the polls close. They stuff ballots into boxes and warehouses and then drag it out for weeks. Rep. Randy Fine and Rep. August, whatever that last name is that I can't read from here, nailed it. California designed a system that destroys confidence in the result. Florida and Texas are evidence that clean counting is possible. California proves that delay is a choice. Yeah, there should be no such thing as we're not going to know for days or weeks who won the election. You should know that night. You should know that night. Okay. There's no excuse for that. It's election. It's tampering. It's fraud, and everyone knows it. Because I don't want to get into 2020, but you need an ounce of common sense to understand what happened. You have one candidate leading when everyone goes to bed, and then, crazy enough, in the middle of the night, they find 100,000 ballots, and not a single one of them is for Trump. So that's the equivalent of flipping a quarter 100,000 times, and every single one of those lands on tails. Come on. Nobody is falling for that. And that's only one state. Wisconsin had 110 voter turnout, 110%. So immediately you should know we can't certify the election in this state. Something happened because no state even has 100%. You definitely can't exceed 100%. So, and this is the problem too. I know the SAVE Act, 4 Republicans voted alongside the Democrats against it. And the thing is, you can't have faith in your country. You can't trust anything if you don't have safe and secure elections. And here's the thing. I'm against cheating on all sides, regardless of who it is. I voted for Trump 3 times, but I would not be pro-Trump cheating to win. I don't want anyone cheating. That's the whole point of the system we have in America, is that you let the people vote. So there should be no tampering for one side or the other. You let the people decide, and then you accept whatever the result is. I didn't throw a tantrum when Biden got in. I don't think it was legitimate, but I didn't, it didn't stop my life. I saw stuff every day I didn't like, but I just got through it, and I don't, I don't understand people who, Trump got in and it just shut down. Like they don't even know how to function anymore. I can't. I might have to leave the country. Dude, shut up. I lived through 2 terms of Obama and a term of Biden. You'll be fine through 4 years of Trump. You're going to make it, okay? He's not killing gay people or trans people or what. Like, just relax. Keep going to work. Keep living your life. Keep just you're going to be fine, okay? Get a puppy and pet the dog and you'll feel much better. Next. From Frank Turek, this word predestined, it means that you're guaranteed to be conformed to the image of his son if you're in Christ. It doesn't mean you don't have a choice. A major blow to all the Calvinists right now. I agree with him though. People, they point that out. Well, predestined is in the Bible. Yes, I understand it is, but you're just assuming it means there are a select few people that God chose to be saved no matter what. They didn't have a say in the matter. And it also means nobody who's isn't chosen can get saved. And you got some major problems with the rest of the Bible if that's what you're going to go with. So when I read about predestined, I agree with him that there are, I would argue everybody is predestined because he wants all people to be saved. That was always his intention. That's the desire of his heart, is that all men be saved. So, and the thing is, we're all made in his image and we were made to walk in fellowship with him. So we're all predestined to be in right relationship with God. That's his plan. The problem is people have got free will and not everybody goes along with that. And he's right that being predestined means if you'll come in and get into right relationship with God, there are promises that he applies to you. You will be conformed into the image. You'll be, all the things that come with getting saved. So to take that word and then make a doctrine out of it, like God chooses some people to be saved and others, he just predestines them to go to hell. That's crazy. Okay. Anyway. And Calvinists are the most hateful Christians I've ever met. They hate everybody. They're miserable. So if you're miserable without Christ, you can definitely get saved and not be miserable anymore. Unless you choose Calvinism, you'll still be miserable. Next. They aren't even trying to hide it. What are they not trying to hide? Spencer Pratt got 0 out of 24,000 votes in a late night LA ballot drop. 0 out of 24,000. Yeah, I'm sure that's believable. Weren't there 3 people? There was Bass and then whoever that other lady is and Spencer Pratt. So there's out of 3 people that these ballots could have been for. He wasn't a single one out of 24,000. It's just not believable. It's just not. But, it's California. So what do you expect? From Reverend Jordan Wells, Carmelo Anthony is guilty. Okay, so we got the verdict. He stabbed that kid at a track meet in Texas. So as a teacher of 10 years and a Black Christian man, I'm removing all racial bias and calling it straight. He brought a weapon to school. That alone is an automatic crime and grounds for expulsion. Then he put himself in the wrong place at the wrong time and chose to stab another kid instead of walking away. This is an open and shut case without the politics and racial tension being forced into it. Everyone would see the facts clearly. Carmelo Anthony killed that boy. I pray for the victim and his family. Justice must prevail over narrative. That's true. The only reason people would act like the verdict is not correct is because of the racial, like he said, the racial bias that's been pushed into the whole case. And if you can just remove that for a second, remove the color of the victim and remove the color of the perp and just look at what happened. In fact, if you had, that would be the most unbiased way to do it. Don't even put their names in there. Don't show anyone what either look like. Just give them the facts of what happened. And everybody would be like, oh yeah, that's just murder. Yes. So the only reason people are fighting it is because of the whole racial, oh, it's racist that they're going to incarcerate him. No, it isn't. He murdered someone. Okay. Like you said, open and shut case. If it were the other way around and it was a white kid that murdered a Black kid, that would also be an open and shut case. Murder, send that kid to prison. If death row is involved, whatever. Next. Last piece of news, actually. 40 years ago, I asked my childhood sweetheart, my best friend, and the most gorgeous woman I know to marry me. All three said no. Whoever that guy is, that's great. Okay. I said last piece of news, and it is, but there's one more video that I want to play just because I thought this was cool. So they've released plans for a 16 billion mile long ship capable of carrying 80,000 people, which actually sounds like it would suck. Who wants to be in the middle of the ocean trapped with 80,000 people? I don't. The Freedom ship would be home to about 50,000 people with space for 10,000 tourists and 20,000 crew members. The Freedom ship is envisioned as a permanently mobile city at sea designed for long-term residents rather than short-term travel, the company says. Why would anyone want to do that? Why don't you like land? The ship would be about 8 times the size of the current largest ship in the world, the Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas. The plans include a 15,000-seat stadium, schools, colleges, shops, clubs, a water park, a music hall, museums, parks, and more. The ship, which would run on nuclear, would be too large to dock and would remain in international waters. Freedom Cruise International says it would go around the world every 2 to 3 years. I would kill myself. Okay, great job showing us happy AI generated people to make it look appealing. If you're already a transient person and you don't mind not having roots anywhere or owning land or having a house or whatever, then maybe that would be for you. I would not be comfortable knowing I'm in the middle of the ocean all the time. I'd like to be on land. Okay. I would like to own land. I'd like to live in a house I own. I want to have my dogs, as many as I want to have. I want to be able to drive. I actually don't even like driving, and I don't think women should drive, but like the freedom to be able to go just get something that you need. Like, I don't think being on the water all the time sounds like a good time. That sounds almost like hell. Like, I'd feel like a prisoner. Plus, I'm sure that you're living, whatever you live in, some type of room can only be so big. So it'd be almost like living in a hotel, which I get there are people who kind of do that. When back in the day, when I lived in South Carolina, I worked in hospitality for a little bit, and there was a guy, actually, I wouldn't say his name, but I don't even remember it now. He lived in our hotel, and we don't know what he did, because he spent by the time the year was over, it'd be like $40,000, I think, that he spent on his room. And he was weird, he was nice and friendly, like to us, the staff, but he was kind of shady. Like, I think he probably was like a criminal because he'd come back in the middle of the night and like sleep during the day. And it wasn't like some kind of blue collar, like I'm working construction at night, or he was like up to something. But I'm pretty sure someone on staff found an arrest report from like 20 years before this. He was 100 pounds lighter. And I forget what the arrest was for, some type of maybe assault with a deadly weapon, something like that. And they're like, and it was in Georgia. And they were like, dude, this has to be him. Like, I think this is him. And so we thought, if you're living in a hotel, maybe you're doing it so that you don't like actually have an address. You know, like you could have like a PO box, but there's no like house you live in, because he paid cash too. He always paid cash for his room. So it's not even like we were running credit cards. So the man was off the grid for probably legal reasons. I think that was it for the news. Let me pop these up and we'll take a short break before we start part 2. I'm on TikTok now. I kept saying I was going to get it going. I finally did. So I need to add that to this list. These are all the platforms where I'm found. I don't really know why I set this up, though. I'm going to have to change it. But anyway, those are the ways to contact, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. I've been making very short clips and reels and posting a lot more to cover a wider range of things, because the podcast once a week is fine, but there's other like tons of stuff to talk about. So I've been doing that. And then these are the ways, if you want to support Amber Alert Podcast, those are your options there. Any one of them should work. Again, that's for no reason other than to just support me. So I keep doing what I'm doing. I mean, I'm going to do what I'm doing without it. Either way, I'm going to do it, but that's an option. Okay, so it's 5/7. What just happened? It's 5:17. I'm going to start part 2 at 5:30. Okay. And that's the one where we're going to get into alien abductions and something called screen memories, which that's not a conspiracy theory. That's like psychology knows that's a real thing, but we're going to look at it in the context of these abductions, people with missing time, people with UFO brain fog. I think L.A. Marzulli might have been the one to coin that phrase or that term, but something happens to people when they get abducted or they're in the vicinity of a UFO. Often they don't like think straight, and then definitely the people who are taken, it's a common thing for there to be screen memories, which we'll get into what those are. And we're also going to play a short clip. We're going to listen to Al Matthews, who was abducted for a while. And then I think the abductions had stopped at this point in his life, but he met a woman who was not a human. And so I've told this story before, but we're going to hear it from him, because I think that's better, because he was the one who experienced it. We'll get into that in part 2. Also look very quickly about at the trailer for Spielberg's movie that's coming out, I think at some point this month, Disclosure Day, because there's some stuff in there that I believe you're seeing screen memories and things like that in the trailer. I'm probably going to watch the movie when it comes out for educational purposes. But I guarantee you it's chock full of predictive programming. Steven Spielberg, unfortunately, seems to be one of the most prominent drivers of the predictive programming with aliens, which probably because he's like arguably the best director in Hollywood. So they're like, who are we going to get to push forward this narrative, and then, offer him whatever amount of money you want, and he'll make the movies and the shows. So we'll look at it in part 2 starting at 5:30. It will be a new live video. I will see you there. Goodbye.